Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from today. This is Rob Jambroni. I'm a Senior Health Specialist with Art Jetter and Company. On behalf of my colleagues, Arlen Visser and Thomas Flick and Kristen Burke in the Senior Health Department here, I welcome you to today's webinar about cross-selling strategies with Medico Insurance Company. We're lucky to have with us today, Courtney Mayer, account manager with Medico, and Mike Katurna, regional sales director, who will give some important strategies about how to cross-sell with Medico's senior health portfolio. In addition to competitive Medicare supplements, Medico has a fantastic portfolio to include dental plans, first diagnosis cancer, and hospital indemnity plans. And I was just mentioning to Mike and Courtney that in the past, I've heard other cross-selling webinars and have honestly found them to be not very exciting. But I recently heard a presentation from Medico and their cross-selling strategies. And it was really found it very interesting, and I hope that you all will find it as interesting as I did, and glad to be able to share that with you today. Before we begin, I do want to let you know that there is an opportunity for questions and answers. To ask a question, please type it into the questions box or the chat on the GoToWebinar control panel that you see there on your screen. And we'll be sure to address those questions at the end of the presentation. Also, the presentation is being recorded, and I will be glad to share that with those who attend today's presentation. So with that, I turn it over to Courtney and Mike. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Rob, and we really appreciate you and everybody at Jetter for having us on here today. We are very excited here to go over some cross-selling ideas, and Mike is going to do a great job with this. I don't know if any of you have ever listened to any of his Tuesday talks that we have here, but he does an amazing job. So I'm going to hand this over to Mike so he can go over the cross-section portion, and then actually I'll take it back over here to just kind of go over some of the products that we have here at Medico. And as Rob said, you know, if you have questions, let us know. I know that he has a copy of the slides, so if you want a copy of the slides once it's all said and done, we'll definitely have those available as well. So Mike, I am going to turn this, or well, maybe I'm going to turn this over to you. There we go.
All right, thanks Courtney, and thanks everyone for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. So we're going to talk about 5 quick concepts about cross-selling. And idea number 1 is everyone's favorite question: does Chipotle sell hot dogs? And before you think I've completely lost my mind, which I have, so it makes it easy, I want to apologize for the picture, because as a Chicago native, I know that you never put ketchup on a hot dog. It's sacrilegious in Chicago, but it's the only stock image I had. So for anyone cringing right now, I apologize. But what does Chipotle have to do with hot dogs? Well, nothing. But we all know Chipotle doesn't sell hot dogs because, first of all, they're not Mexican food, right? To which I argue there is a Mexican restaurant in Columbia, Missouri, where I live, that has hamburgers on the menu for kids. So feasibly, Chipotle could sell hot dogs. But we know they don't because it's not on the menu, right? You walk in Chipotle, and you've got burritos, burrito bowls, quesadillas, and tacos. Very simple. So we can safely assume that Chipotle doesn't sell hot dogs. So let's put that aside for a second. Let's look at our clients that come, or our prospects, I should say, that come to us for a group or employer situation, which in most cases is most our clients and prospects. They're coming to us and they're used to buying off a menu, right? When they go to a new company or have their annual review of benefits, they're going to a website that HR sent them, and they're looking over what's available. They've got their major medical, they've got their dental, vision, short-term disability, long-term disability. And if they don't see a benefit listed on there, it's for most people safe to assume that benefit isn't available, so they don't get it, right? So they don't have to worry about it. They know exactly what's available to them. But the challenge is they leave that company, and after 15, 20, 30 years, they've had that menu of benefits available to them. They come to the Medicare side, and come to an agent, and the agent goes, yeah, you have a Med Sup with a Part D plan, or you have or a Medicare Advantage plan. Which one do you want? And the agent stops there. And they don't talk about dental or hospital indemnity or cancer. So the client's going to either, one, assume that those benefits don't exist in the Medicare market, or two, they're going to think you don't have them and they will seek it elsewhere. Just like if I wanted a cancer plan with my employer and the employer doesn't offer it, I know I have to go somewhere else to get it. And there's no point arguing with HR over the fact that they don't have it, because HR, let's face it, doesn't care. It's just their job to show you what you have. So next slide, Courtney, if you would, please. So this goes to idea number 2, that clients don't know what to ask. They've never had to ask what's on the menu, right? You walk in Chipotle, it's right there in front of you. You go to a sit-down restaurant, they hand you a menu. Even McDonald's, you pull up their drive-through or walk in and you see what's on the menu. So you don't have to ask what's on the menu. It's always presented to them. So they don't know to ask for dental. They don't know to ask for hospital indemnity. In fact, I've never had a client ask me, hey, Mike, do you sell hospital indemnity? Because they don't know what it is. And I remind agents that when it comes to hospital indemnity, our mouthpiece to the community is you, the agent. We don't run commercials. We don't do mailers. Our distribution channel is you, the agent. So if you're not talking about it, the client will never hear it until another agent brings it up. And then that client, i.e. your client, is going to be like, wow, my agent must not have this because he or she didn't tell me about it. So now I got to go with this agent. And now I've got another agent in my book of business because I didn't make my client aware of hospital indemnity. So next slide, if you would. Now the challenge is a lot of agents don't want to feel like they're doing high pressure sales or offering too much, or they don't want to be rejected. Let's face it, no one does. But I would like to remind you that cross-selling is like a batting average. And what I mean by that, excuse me, I got a little sinus issue from travel. My bad. 1 second. Excuse me there. But if you look at a professional baseball player, a good batting average is 300, which is 0.300. That means 30% of the time they have a successful at-bat. They're making first base, second base, home run, whatever. I don't know that much about baseball, but just enough to use this example. So if you flip that, though, that means 70% of the time they technically have a failed at-bat, right? They're not making it to base. They're being struck out. They're popping it up. It's being caught. It's an unsuccessful at-bat. But the 30% of the time they do make the base makes up for the 70% of the time they don't. And it's the same with cross-selling. You're going to have more people say, no, thank you, than yes, I'll take it. And if you have the same division, 70-30, the 30% of the people that say, yes, I want that, please enroll me, versus 70% that don't, are going to make up for it. Because right now, if you don't offer it, it's a 0. Because again, very few people will ask, hey, what else is available? They're going to take what you tell them and assume that's every option. And there are very easy ways to offer it, because you can make it next slide, please. Thank you, Courtney. You can make it a win-win situation, right? If you're not excited to tell your clients about what's in your portfolio, they're not going to be excited about enrolling. If you go to your client and say, yeah, I got dental, covers your teeth and stuff. If you want, it's like $40 a month, and it's a little expensive, but whatever, if you want it, they'd be like, nah, I don't want that. No way. But if you're excited to tell them their benefits, or if you're even giving the effort to tell them what's available, and you could say something like I've said, again, I'm just giving what works for me, maybe get some nuggets off of it and you make it work for you, or change it for your cadence, your style, your technique to make it work. But I'd say something like, you know what, there's a couple other optional coverages you have. I'm going to run down the list. If any stand out and you want more information, let me know. But I just want to make sure you're aware of your options. We've got dental, we've got hospital benefit, we've got cancer, blah, blah, blah. Run down the list and let the client tell you, ooh, yeah, I want more information about that. Or no, you know what, thanks for letting me know. I don't want any. But now they know when they hear it elsewhere, they can come back to me and say, hey, I heard someone had dental. You said you sell dental, Mike. Tell me more about yours. As opposed to, Mike never talked about dental, so he must not have it. So if you make it a win-win situation, that, hey, I'm winning by telling you how you could win with your insurance, they're going to be excited to hear about it, and they're also going to remember it because I wasn't a high pressure salesperson. And the fifth concept, real quick, which I think is very, very important, is you have to offer it now, but you also have to offer it later. I don't remember what I had for dinner last Tuesday. I have no idea. I don't remember. I remember I ate because my waistline tells me so, but I don't remember what it was. Your clients are going to remember maybe 10% the next day of what you told them. 2, 3, 4 months from now, they're not going to remember anything, more than likely. So you have to have a drip campaign. This is where your retention strategy comes in. Now, your retention strategy can't just be sales. It could, you should sprinkle maybe some recipes or some interesting things about Medicare or stuff they should know, but also remind them you have dental. Also remind them you have hospital benefits, which i.e. is hospital indemnity. And a little pro tip there, I never told my clients the word indemnity because nobody knows what indemnity means outside the insurance market. If I told my wife we have an indemnity situation, she'd be like looking at me cross-eyed, like, what on earth are you talking about? But if I say we have a benefit, she knows what a benefit is, right? We all know what benefits are. Those are things that are good for us. Indemnity means something. We don't know. So talk about the hospital benefit you have. Talk about the dental benefits. Talk about cancer products. And you could do that in your newsletter. Make it like the last part of your newsletter saying, oh, don't forget, if you have a toothache, we have solutions for you. There with this dental product or something like that. So you have to constantly remind them of what you have because the rest of the world will be telling them what's available as well. And we've seen that time and time again. It used to be these ads for Medicare ran, October to December, and then they shut off. We're seeing them all year now. So retention plan used to be a good idea. Now it's a vital idea. So those are the top 5 things. Hopefully you got a couple good nuggets out of there to apply to your business. And of course, everyone over at the agency can help you with that. We can help you over at Medico. But just a reminder, you do have a responsibility to educate your clients about their options, because if you don't, somebody else will. And the last little tidbit I'm going to give you, this is the question I asked all the time, was when you had group insurance, what did that look like? Because these are the benefits that they enrolled in on their own, right? When you're enrolling into group benefits through an employer, there's not an insurance agent in the room. There's not. Typically, you're sitting at a computer enrolling your benefits on your own, and they're having to make their own decisions on what they're going to enroll in. So I always use my wife as an example. My wife has had dental insurance since she started working. She's been at this company for 15 years. Every year she's had dental insurance. So when retirement comes, guess what? She's probably going to want dental insurance. So when I sit with her, if I didn't know her, obviously, I said, when you had group insurance, what did that look like? Oh, I had dental. I had an accident plan. I had short-term disability. Okay, why'd you have short-term disability? And find out why they had those benefits. And you could say, oh, well, that's available in the Medicare market too. Do you want information on that? Yeah, I'd love information on that. And then you now have opened the door for cross-selling. And it's a very, very innocent question because you're just doing fact-finding, right? I'm not being aggressive with that question. I just want to know what's important to them. So that one question can open up the door to so many opportunities and a better relationship with your clients. So that's my part of it. I'm going to turn you over to the marvelous Courtney, who knows more about Medico, has forgotten more about Medico than I can remember. So Courtney, is all you.
Thank you, Mike. And the great thing about Medico here is everything that Mike just talked about, we have plans to help cross-sell for your clients. We have our Medicare supplement plans, we have dental, we have the hospital indemnity, and we have a first diagnosis cancer policy. So all of these policies that we have and that we're going to talk about in the next couple of slides, they are great to cross-sell, especially on our My Enroller, because you can actually enroll multiple policies all at the same time on one enrollment tool. So we're going to start with our dental plans. You may have heard here at Medico, we have had some exciting things happen starting last year. We revamped our dental plan. That was the first product to go. So anywhere that you are seeing in the gold is where we have our new gold and platinum dental plans available at. What is nice on these plans is when we were designing these, we wanted to keep it as simple and as easy as possible. We took feedback from the field when we designed these plans here. So we have the gold 1,000 and 1,500, and we have the platinum 1,000 and 1,500. When you are looking at these side by side here, you're going to notice very, very similar. The difference is going to be on the gold plan, we're going to cover basic service at 50%. For platinum, we're going to cover basic at 80%. But still on both plans, preventative services are covered right away at 100%, no waiting period. There's a $0 deductible for preventative and a $50 for basic or major. Also, major services. We will cover major services within the first 12 months at 20%. After they've had the plan with us for 12 months, we're going to bump it up to 50%. What is nice on our dental plans is, though, there is no coordination of benefits. So if you have somebody that currently has an Advantage policy, there's some benefits that are going to be covered on that, but we know that it's not going to cover everything that your clients may be used to when they had their employer plan. So these plans, we will pay in addition to any other kind of insurance that they currently have. And for the network, it's a passive PPO. So if they have a dentist, I use myself as an example. I've been going to the same dentist for the last 20 years. I do not want to change if I do not have to. So with our network, if they use an in-network doctor, they're just going to get that negotiated rate that that doctor has with being part of the network. But if they don't want to, that's perfectly fine. We will still cover them at the same percentages that you are seeing here. And when it comes to submitting the claim, most of the time the provider is going to submit that claim. But if your client wants to, all we need is a copy of the itemized bill. They can send that over to us, and then we would just reimburse your policyholder back directly. With the dental plans, we have a couple great riders with these as well. These really help tailor and add more benefits to your clients' each individual needs and their wants. We have the buy-up benefit, and we have the carryover benefit rider. So now, one of these, either or, can be purchased at time of application. We're going to start with the buy-up benefit. The buy-up benefit is brought to you at the Walmart pricing of $11.95. Don't ask me how we rounded these, the cents off to the $11.95, but this is a great rider. It is going to add $1,000 of coverage to your client's plan. So say they have the gold $1,000 plan. They purchase that buy-up for, and it's going to add an additional $1,000 of coverage, and it can be added to both plans. We also have the carryover benefit rider. This has been an extremely popular rider. Again, Walmart pricing of $7.97 a month. And if you have somebody that maybe didn't use all of their benefits in the one calendar year, they could then carry that unused benefit over until the next calendar year. And then they can do this until it rolls and it reaches a maximum of $3,000. So two great riders that can be purchased here. Also with our dental plans, if you have somebody that has a Medicare Supplement plan, or maybe our sister company is Great Western, if they have one of those policies and they purchase a gold or platinum dental plan, they're actually going to get a 5% discount on their dental plan for having that. We also have the option for someone to add a spouse. If they add a spouse, the spouse that's being added is going to get a 12% discount for that. So as you can see here, and through all of our products that we're going to talk about, we have discounts available to really help make these plans as affordable as possible for your different clients. Now we're going to go on to our hospital indemnity plans. If we were sitting in a room together right now, I would say raise your hands if you've gotten our emails, talking about our new endorsement for our hospital indemnity. We were very excited to launch the hospital indemnity endorsement effective June 1st. Still the same great product that you're used to if you sold in the past, but we took that product and we added even more benefits. Again, we got information from the field. So anywhere on this chart that you're seeing in blue is where that new enhanced product is. Now, if you are in, Oregon, Utah, or Ohio, it's coming. Just stay tuned. As soon as we have a launch date, we'll let you know. But again, these hospital indemnity plans, they were designed to go hand in hand with your client's Advantage policies. They are really going to help fill in the gaps and out of pockets. Now, the biggest thing that we were probably the most excited about here when we launched this endorsement is we are now offering a guarantee issue from the ages of 64 to 67 on our hospital indemnity. The issue ages are now ages 18 to 85. So if you have somebody that is 64 to 67, they are going to be in that GI window. Now, there is still a 6-month pre-existing, so anything that's pre-existing is not going to be covered within the first 6 months. And there is a 2-year contestability period. So if you have somebody that is outside of that guarantee issue window, so 18 to 63 and 68 to 85, we will still order those medical records if a claim comes in within the first 2 years. But if they're between that 64 and 67, there's not even going to be any health questions that pop up for you when you're enrolling somebody. So we were very excited to be able to offer that. Now, the plan itself, we even lowered the number of days. So now your clients can select either a 3-day benefit, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or a 21 or a 31-day benefit period. And then the dollar amounts, those are still the same, from $100 to $600, and it goes up in $25 increments. So I always say these plans are nice because it's going to help you for each of your clients, their needs, their wants, and then of course if they're trying to stay within a budget as well. And our hospital indemnity plan, if somebody uses the plan, say 5 days, say they have a 6-day option and they go into the hospital for 5 days and they are released. If they are carefree for 60 continuous days, then we are going to reset them back to those 6 days again. And there's not a certain amount of time that can happen throughout the year. As long as they are carefree for 60 continuous days, we're going to reset them on back. The observation unit benefit, that stayed the same. That's going to cover 100% up to 6 days in a calendar year if they're in observation. The emergency room benefit, this is going to pay $150 if they go into the emergency room either due to an injury or an accident. It used to be they had to be admitted within 24 hours. We took that away. Now they just have to go in either due to an accident or injury, and we'll cover them 4 days in a calendar year for that. Another unique aspect of Medico's hospital indemnity is we are going to pay for the transportation and lodging. We all know right now that prices everywhere, you know, from grocery bills to gas, it doesn't matter what it is. Prices are crazy. So this is going to pay $100 for a maximum of 10 days in a calendar year if your applicant has to go more than 50 miles from their residence to receive care. Because if they're having to go more than 50 miles, they're going to need to eat while they're gone. They're going to have to pay for gas. They're probably going to need a hotel room. In most places you go nowadays, you have to pay for parking as well. So this is a great benefit that is included in the base policy. And then I'm just going to round it out here with the inpatient mental health. That's just going to pay $175 for a max of 7 days if they had to use the inpatient mental health benefit. Also, what's nice on these plans is there is a household discount. If they live with somebody over the age of 18, they get a 7% discount for that. There is no policy fee. And on average, our premiums are about 10% cheaper than our competitors. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're ever quoting out there, we are about 10% on average cheaper. Now, the riders. You know, I like to say the riders are really what makes the policy for somebody, depending upon what they may have for their Advantage policy and their out-of-pocket. So we're going to start with the ambulance benefit rider. It's actually our most popular rider that we have. Going to pay $250 for either ground, air, or even water transportation up to 4 days in a calendar year. Then we have the outpatient therapy and chiropractic service benefit. We have the skilled nursing facility benefit rider, the lump sum cancer benefit rider. So we're going to talk about cancer now, and then we're going to talk about our first diagnosis cancer, because as Mike said, you know, when they had their employer coverage, they probably had that. But now that they are out on their own and they are trying to, you know, navigate the world of insurance on their own, they might not know that they can get it, or they just don't know where to go and ask to get something like that. Because the lump sum cancer benefit rider, it is great because you can see the dollar amounts there: $1,000, $2,500, $5,000, $7,500, or $10,000 for first diagnosis of internal cancer or malignant melanoma. And we pay this lump sum out It is their money to use however they best see fit their needs. You know, if they want to use it for the medical treatment that they had to get, that's great. Maybe they want to go on a vacation. You know, they're done with their treatments and they're in remission and they just want to get away. They can do that as well. Then we have the lump sum hospital confinement benefit. Again, you're seeing the different amounts here. There's truly something out there for everybody. So $250, $500, or $750, up to 3 benefit periods in a calendar year. The outpatient surgery benefit rider pays $250, $500, $750, or $1,000 up to 2 days each calendar year if they have to get any outpatient surgery. And then the last one, that's the urgent care center benefit rider. I don't know about you guys, but it seems when we go to the emergency room, we are there for absolutely ever. My husband was having an asthma attack one time and we were there for absolutely ever. My son broke his arm, same thing. So it does not matter what we go for. It is never a quick process when we are there. Even stitches took us forever one time. So the urgent care center benefit, this is great for somebody that they need medical attention, but it's not something to where they need to go to the emergency room. This is gonna pay $50 for 4 days in a calendar year. Now, these plans, I said before, they really help tailor each individual's, their different wants and needs when it comes to having their coverage. So that way, they don't have that out of pocket, because on average, the 65-year-old couple has $6,000 in go-to savings. That is money that they have set aside that they maybe want to go, they go somewhere in the wintertime, or they want to join their local country club. It is not money that they are having set aside because they want to use it for an unexpected hospital stay. So a lot of times, you know, I've had people, agents say, I just simply start the conversation with, oh, do you happen to have a hospital card? And they kind of look at them like, well, what's a hospital card? And then that is their leeway into talking about hospital indemnity. Because, you know, it sounds like, well, hospital card, that sounds like something I should probably have. So as soon as they say that, then it starts that conversation about a hospital indemnity policy. Now, our Medicare supplement plans. We launched new Medicare supplement rates. We started last year. Then we rolled out a few more states this last few months. We are extremely competitive. So anywhere that you see in this blue, that is where we have our Medicare supplement plans. I don't know if I have anybody that's in South Carolina. I just use South Carolina as an example because we are #1 pretty much across the whole entire state of South Carolina. But with our Medicare supplements, what we did is we went with a different approach than what you're probably used to seeing from us here at Medico. We used to be extremely competitive in those super rural areas, you know, where there might have only been like 10 people that lived. When we relaunched these Medicare supplements, we are now more competitive in your urban and suburban marketplace. This is giving the opportunity to have an affordable Medicare supplement plan in your bigger cities. What's nice, if you have somebody that lives with anybody over the age of 50, they are going to receive a 10% household discount for that. So again, we are trying to offer the savings when and where we can with all of our plans that we have available here. Our rates, they are out on the My Enroller, they're out on our Quick Quote, they are also uploaded into the CSG. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at them, please do. We are extremely competitive in those bigger cities, so please go take a look at those. But now we're going to go on to our first diagnosis cancer plan. We talked about it as a rider because 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women are going to be affected by cancer at some time. So here is our product availability chart for our first diagnosis cancer policy. Now, I will tell you that, you know, you see Colorado is not in blue there, and I didn't know this until not that long ago. Colorado actually has one of the highest rates of cancer in the country. Who would have thought that? But so unfortunately, you know, we have it in all the states surrounding Colorado, but we don't have it in Colorado there. But we have been selling the first diagnosis cancer plan since the 1980s. We have different options. We have 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and 25,000 lump sum available. There's 3 questions on the application. We have a 99% issue rate for our first diagnosis cancer policy. We ask a 10-year look-back period from a previous cancer diagnosis. But what's nice on these plans is we do not ask family history. There's no coordination of benefits, and then there's also a 10% couples discount as well. So these plans are extremely affordable. For myself, I'm 34. I want to say for the $25,000 lump sum plan, it was like $17 a month, and they're issue age policies. So the premium's not going to go up with their age on these plans, which is a really nice point, excuse me, when you're offering these plans. Now, we've gone over the cross-selling part. We've gone over the product. And I don't know if Mike's still on with me or not, but we're kind of excited about all the incentives that we have going on here, because we truly want to make Medico kind of your one-stop shop for all of the different products, you know, that are available out there for your clients. So we're going to start with our hospital indemnity incentive. So this starts on July 1st. So when is that? It's Friday already. So starting on Friday, July 1st, and it's going to run through September 30th for the hospital indemnity. If you write 5 through 14 applications, that's going to set you at tier 1. That is going to earn you $30 per application. And we'll retro back. So once you hit 5, we'll retro back and pay for the first ones that were submitted. Tier 2, if you write 15 or more applications, that is going to get you $60 per application for our hospital indemnity policies. We also have our Medicare Supplement and dental bonus going on. So if you have somebody that writes, maybe you write 3 Medicare Supplement applications, that's what you have to write in order to earn this incentive. So 3 qualifying applications. If it's an underwritten, it's going to get you $175. If it's a guarantee issue or open enrollment, $25. But if you combo that and you write a Medico dental gold or platinum dental plan as well, that's going to get you an additional $25 for that dental. And again, all of these products, you can enroll on my enroller. I don't have a slide on here for that, but you can click multiple products and you can enroll somebody all at the same time for that. So great incentives, but I'm not done yet. We have one more incentive. We have a trip invitational. So it's going to go from June 1st through December 31st, and you earn points based on premium. So here's kind of an example, and I don't know if it's, you know, maybe kind of small to see, but I'll make sure that Rob has all these, so that way if you want to, you know, take a look at all of the rules that are on the back, you definitely can. But for an underwritten med supp, you're going to get 1 point. And over, you're going to see the example. I'm pointing. I know you can't see me, but there's the example over there on the left-hand side. For hospital indemnity, dental, and cancer, those 3 products are those are the main products that you can cross-sell when you are almost writing any kind of policy. You're going to earn 2 points for those. So an example, a $30 HIP plan is going to get you 720 points. And then down at the bottom, you're going to see that you have to have at least those 200,000 points. So we have all kinds of incentives, programs going on right now. So if there's ever any questions or ever anything that you need from us at Medico, I know that you always can, you know, reach out to Rob and everybody at Jetter, but I just wanted to make sure that I thought I had a slide with my info on it. That's not, I must have took it out. But my name's Courtney, so if you ever have questions, I'd be more than happy to help you. But I know that I skipped over that Q&A slide. So right now, if there are any questions, we would be more than happy to answer any questions on anything Medico related here.
Courtney, thank you so much for that, and Mike for that wonderful presentation. We're very excited to be longtime partners with Medico. I've been with Art Jetter and Company for 14 years, and it's been a part of the company every day since I've been here, and much longer than that. So we have a long standing relationship with Medico, and the partnership has been tremendous. So a couple of points I wanted to highlight. with regards to just making sure that you're asking, telling your clients, what Mike's talked about, what's on your menu. That concept is, I thought, is a very simple but excellent concept, just to making sure that that you're making sure your clients know what you're offering. When you're going into a restaurant, what's available to you because it's on a menu. So when you're, positioning your business, develop something like a menu that shows your clients, this is everything that I can provide for you. Certainly tailor it to what's applicable for that appointment that you're going to be having. But I think it's an excellent concept to really be focusing on, especially during as we approach the Medicare enrollment period, focusing on what can be help lower your clients' health insurance costs. A couple of questions here. One being about the dental network. Courtney, could you explain anything about the dental network and how Medico pays for in-network versus out-of-network dental expenses?
So if the network is through Carrington, so it's a very large network, there's a lot of dentists that are in that network, but it's a passive network, so passive PPO. So if they wanted to use the in-network doctor, we would cover them at that negotiated rate that doctor has with being part of the network. But if they are, say, not an in-network doctor and your clients still want to go there, they can definitely do that. We'll just cover them at the same percentage-wise. So if they, say, had the platinum plan, we would cover them at 80% for their basic. It's just they might not get as good of a rate. An in-network doctor may charge, say, $100 for a cleaning tour. An out-of-network doctor may charge, $115. But as far as the percentage-wise, we will still cover them the same based on their plan type.
Excellent, thank you. We're getting some questions here regarding the hospital indemnity being and the guaranteed issue from 64 to 67. If someone has an existing condition, how does that work with regards to that guaranteed issue provision?
The pre-existing is 6 months. So even if they are in between that GI period of 64 and 67, there is still that 6-month pre-existing condition limitation. After that 6 months, everything is going to be covered just fine. But if you have, somebody that doesn't have a pre-existing condition and something comes up when they're between that 64 and 67 bracket, it's going to be covered right away for them.
Thank you. One scenario that I like to point out too is, say that you had a client that came on with you and they got a Medicare Advantage plan. Then they're thinking like, they didn't like their Medicare Advantage plan, or they were concerned about it and had some concerns, but they had health conditions. They have, diabetes, for instance. Your client that has diabetes, they wanted to get hospital coverage, and they started getting hospital coverage with another carrier, but they got declined because they have diabetes. Medico would issue them a policy because they're in that 64 to 67 bracket, but would just not pay. There would be that 6-month pre-existing clause there. So after the policy has been enforced for 6 months, then it would pay on everything. So that's an excellent opportunity for you to talk to your clients and put them with a Medico's hospital indemnity plan to provide them with excellent coverage and many good riders on that policy as well. So
yeah, and Rob, another thing I want to add to that too is the health questions on our hospital indemnity. We're only asking in the past 12 months. So if you had somebody that maybe had something a couple of years ago, I'd say I use our first diagnosis cancer policy for an example. Maybe they had cancer 3 or 4 years ago. They're good now. They wouldn't be able to qualify for our standalone cancer though, but they would be able to get that cancer rider on our hospital indemnity policy. So I've had people tell me that they write like the bare bones, like 3-day, $100 a day benefit, and then they add the riders on for people, especially that first diagnosis cancer policy rider. So that's a great way to look at it too. And then you had mentioned the diabetes question. So now on our hospital indemnity, we accept up to 50 units. If they take 50 or more, then it's an automatic decline. But if they're taking 50 or less units, we're not going to decline them like we used to. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at those questions, please go do so, because with that new endorsement, we really added some great benefits here.
But that 65-year-old that has, or 66-year-old that has diabetes, again, they can get the hospital indemnity plan, but would just not pay for, they had to submit a claim for diabetes, you'd have to wait 6 months for any claim to be paid on diabetes.
That's right. Yep. If it's pre-existing, then yes, there's still that 6-month pre-existing.
So, but it's just an excellent opportunity to offer your clients affordable coverage to pay for their hospital stays. With regards to the, like you mentioned, the cancer rider, is the cancer rider a guaranteed issue between 64 and 67, or only the base hospital indemnity plan?
Nope, even the riders are guarantee issue.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's something I didn't even know.
Yep. So even the riders, they're all, it's guarantee issue between 64 and 67. Again, that pre-existing is going to still be for the riders as well. So 6-month pre-existing condition for those. But when you're enrolling somebody on our My Enroller, you're going to notice that the health questions aren't even going to pop up for anybody. So if they're between that 64 and 67 year age window, you're going to go straight through like you would say an open enrollment med sup or guarantee issue med sup. It's not going to even ask those health questions.
If I could just offer a piece of advice too. One thing I did when I was selling hospital indemnity in the field, when you're building out the policy, I always like to pad the inpatient a couple dollars, because it's adjustable in $25 increments. So if they had a $275 per day, days 1 through 5, I would make it $300, because you don't know the following year what that copay is going to be, and you're typically not going to change the hospital indemnity plan to match. They're going to get that $275 or $300, and that's what they're going to have for the life of that hospital indemnity policy. So changing it $25 only adds, it's barely $1 half the time. So I always tell my clients, look, we're going to give a little more, because you may have doctor visits or additional prescriptions when you're discharged from the hospital. Or if this goes up next year or the year after, now you have some cushion where it's still going to be covered 100% as opposed to almost 100%. So don't be afraid to pad it just a little bit for future potential rate increases.
Excellent. Well, I believe that's all the questions that were asked. So again, this presentation is recorded. I'd be glad to share that with all who attended. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us at seniorhealth@jetter.com. You can call us at 800-228-0008. Courtney and Mike, thanks again so much for your time this morning. And everybody, thank you for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.